Aha, Take on Me is a song that has almost 1 billion views on YouTube. They say that the song, every single day, the song has almost 500,000 views on YouTube. That's how popular that song still is nowadays after so many years. The actual original song, the song that we all know or became the popular one, came out in 1985 on the, I think it's the Hunting High and Low CD. But the song actually came out, they tried 3 times before they had finally had the success, a lot of success with it. It had been released 3 times. They even made a video before that, but the video was just it was a very plain video of just them pretty much like playing in it's like the news version, like you're watching the news TV and they say, okay, we had this band playing for us, and exactly the way that you can imagine that's how they made the video. So it was not catchy, was not attractive at all. They had just all 3 members, Morten Harket, Furo Holmen, and Wachter playing. So what's interesting is that this song almost didn't make it. That this song almost didn't make it to really go out there and be shown to the world, because when it was created, Furo Holmen, which was a keyboard or is a keyboard player of Aha, he came with that tone of Take on Me that we all know, the initial tone. And Watar, which was they were in a band called the Bridges when they were young before Aha, and he heard the tone. Watar heard the tone and didn't like it, but Furo Holman said, you know what, I actually like it. It sounds pretty catchy to me, so I'm just gonna keep it. I'm gonna put it aside, and then we'll work on it eventually. So the song, the song, they sounded too poppy for them, and they call it the juicy fruit song, because they say that it reminded them kind of like a Coca-Cola advertising, in the beautiful summer somewhere in the United States with American kids and all that. And they say, and we were in a total different reality. We were guys living in the cold and dark Norway, let's say. So eventually they were scouted by Warner Music. Once Morten Harket joined the band, and they show him the song, and he said, you know what, that's a song that is really gonna get us out of being just nobody. That's a song that was gonna show us to the world. So they worked on that song, and they were signed by Warner Music, and they started working with this producer called his name was Tony Mansfield. And Tony Mansfield liked to work with a machine called the Fairlight, which is pretty much, they put all the sound together, and he will work on the machine with that. But they said in order for all the music to fit in the machine, or the amount of data that you could put in the machine, he said Mansfield grabbed the demos, and he had to leave out a lot of the stuff that the band have in the demos. So a lot of the material, a lot of the sounds, a lot of beats and things from the songs, in order to put it in the Fairlight machine, he had to leave out. The producer left out a lot of those, let's say, part of the song that were probably that eventually will make it, that will eventually will make it the hit that it was back then, and it still is today. So what happened is that with Mansfield, they released a song in three different times. The first time it was released, I believe after they played with the Bridges with the band. I think it was released in 1981 the first time. It was released in 84 and 83 and 84, if I'm not wrong. But all of them under Mansfield. So eventually what happened is the members of AHA say, they went to, they have already, of course, Warner Music have already spent a lot of money on the recording and the editing and all that. And AHA came up to them and say, you know what, guys, let us work with another producer. After the third time they released a song and it was no hit, they said, they thought that Warner Music was going to turn it down, if they asked it for another chance, if they asked it to get back in the studio and redo the song, but they say, we want someone else as a producer. So they ended up bringing a producer called Alan Turner, which was, they say that his credentials were really good. And what Turner did is that, different from Mansfield, Turner grabbed all the demo music, and he started paying attention to all the demos and all the different parts and beats that I had been adding to that. He said, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab all these parts, we're gonna put them together, and we're gonna work in the sound without the Fairlight machine. We're just leaving that aside. We're gonna work on all this and we're gonna refine the song, refine the keyboards, refine the guitars and all that, and more, and Harken's voice and everything. And that's what they did. And that's what the result was, what we know nowadays as a famous Take On Me song. They called Jeff Aroff to produce. He created and produced the video, and of course the video was groundbreaking, and it was a big part of the success of Take On Me. It was something that there was no video, nothing like that back in the day. And I still think that nowadays, in almost 2020, there is not really a lot of videos that resemble that kind of real footage and comic book kind of footage, or at least, I mean, you can say that Aha was the first band that made something like that, and they were pretty much like, okay, they brought this idea to the world of video creation for other bands to recreate it or try to make something kind of alike, let's say. So in the end, what got my attention is that song, it was something. It was a project that they had, and they had been released 3 times before they finally shaped it to the form that was successful. So that tells you that many times the ideas that we have, or the things that we want to do, and they don't turn out well, it's very important to go out there and say, okay, what can I do? What can I shift? What can I turn? What can I redo? What can I redefine of my projects, or whatever your goal is, in order to make it work? It's when if you are able to see, if you're able to see the first video of the song on YouTube, and then you compare the sound and the video to what is the better known, let's say the internationally known video of Take On Me, the sound is different, the video is different. And that's many times we have a project, and it's and when the initial project that you have, what you're working with from the beginning, it can be so different. Once you shape it, once you develop it, once you make it better, it can be so different to the final result. And I'm talking about projects. It can be something at work, it can be something at home, it can be something at school, anything. And not only a project, I'm also talking about people. We can start in such a place that if they show you this is who you can become, we don't believe it. We don't believe that from this point to this point things can change so much, because from this product to this product is completely another person, or another project. It's like the ending can be so different. That's why it's good, and it's important that you really need to pay attention and listen to the stories like this, and say, you know what, you start something, and usually your project, the way you started, whatever it is, whether you're working on yourself or on something else, can start, and the end product is probably gonna look only like even 5 or 10% the way it looked in the beginning. That's how much you can shape it. That's how much it can change. That's how much it can be if you can work to make it better. So it's important when you go out there and you try one time, and you try the second time, and you try a third time, and things don't work out. Well, you just gotta work. You just gotta work with the product, and go look for people that can give you a hand. Look, people that know about the product, that know what you're working on, and find advice from them. Because more than 80% of the people that try a business and fail the first time, they quit. They don't try a second time. More than 80%. So there is a lot of projects that we all have done, and we didn't follow up on the first setback. It's very important to think like, okay, if I'm gonna launch this thing, if I'm gonna launch myself, what I wanna do is you gotta have the idea that pretty much things are not gonna come out the way you want the first time. And it's probably gonna take you 20, it's probably gonna take you 100 times, it's probably gonna take you 1 year, 5 years, probably 10 years or more. But you just gotta, it's keeping on working, it's grinding it. It's okay, I'm getting it, I'm gonna do it again. Here we go again, and here we go again. And that's how you get to that end result. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I hope you like the story behind the Take On Me has song, and give me a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Thank you.